Yay! It's the first Pop Astro Live of 2021. Cosmo, the telescope sloth, has migrated down from the telescope and is now sitting on my microphone. How was New Year for you? Oh, he got scared by a party popper. Poor boy. Okay, here comes the countdown. We just let a few people join the stream, and then we are launching headlong into the first transmission of 2021. And a happy new year to you, popular astronomers. Have you missed me? I am about as rusty as an old garden gate after 2 weeks of not doing this. I am down in the spooky, disused, it's a used laundrette, but they're disused stables, if that makes sense, on the complex where I live. So it's sleeting, it's cold. I've got the steptoe effect going on here, and I'm still very full of stollen. I discovered stollen this Christmas. Who knew that a one girl could eat so much marzipan-based deliciousness over Christmas? So welcome to Pop Astro Live. Let's have a look. Yeah, you know what, Brendan? Thank you. Good evening, Pop Astro Live. Happy New Year. Missed you indeed. Yeah, it's been weird. Happy New Year, everyone. It's twice as good when you say it like that. Good evening and Happy New Year from Wiltshire. Hello, everybody. And hello, Simon, as well. It's really lovely to have all the regulars back in the chat room. I am just going to resize my windows here because they are going bonkers. I need my script up. Where's it gone? Come on, script. Here we go. Reduce that one. Shuffle it all around like a tile puzzle. Okay, so welcome back. So we've had 2 weeks off and now we are back for a full throttle tour around the universe. So tonight's guests are Megan Argo, astrophysicist and science communicator. Megan is lecturer in astronomy at the University of Central Lancashire in Preston, where she studies galaxies in the universe with radio telescopes. So tonight we're going to be talking radio astronomy, one of my favorite themes, and also the sad demise of Aricebo. Then Broom handles at the ready, because we're going to be cleaning up with Steve Tonkin, the Binocular Astronomer Royale. He's going to be giving us binocular stabilizing tips, Broom handle all the way, and advice on light pollution and LED lighting. So we are the Society for Popular Astronomy. This is your show as much as it is mine, mainly. I might own a little bit more of it than you. So please start commenting in the chat room. It's a great way to make new friends. I've made a whole swathe of fantastic new Astro buddies. And I just know that once we're all inoculated and ready to let rip, when I walk into the next SPA event, I will have a whole stack of fantastic new cosmic acquaintances. So please get friending each other, get bantering in the chat room. It's lots of fun and it is your chat room. So please make comments, join in with the fun. We've got a Spacex quiz coming up later. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. It's all really good. It's going to be so good. Right, where are we up to? What do we have to do? Cosmo is here. Cosmo, the telescope sloth, he was left abandoned here. If you are new to the epic saga of Cosmo, he was left here. No one claimed him. He's now mine. It's quite a simple little saga. But I do live in fear that one day his owners will contact us and ask for him back. But he's got his space badge on there, which came from Alice Shepherd, our citizen. Oh, that is welded to you now, Cosmo. That is not coming off. That badge ain't coming off, man. You are a space sloth forever. But as you can see, Cosmo is modeling SPA merch, as I am. Sing about the bling. We'll sing about the bling. If you go to the SPA shop, you will see that we, amongst lots of other things, we have got this wonderful analemma necklace. It's like an infinity loop made of stars and or planets or whatever you want your analemma to be of. Cosmo is modeling a fantastic sundial, which you peer through and connect the dots, and you can tell the time very accurately. apparently with the accuracy of an atomic clock. So I'm not told. But these lovely bits of bling are available on the SPA website, as is plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug, plug the mug. This water's extra musty because no one's around the tap for 2 weeks. So that's nice, isn't it? Hydrate my pipes. Oh, that's nice and cold, though. That is nice and cold. Nice and cold. Nice and cold. So let's see what's going on in the chat room. Look forward to being able to meet the others in person. So do I, Michael. I don't believe that we've met. We might have met at an SPA event. Happy New Year, Vicky and Astro Peeps. Thank you so much, Ian. Hi, Vicky. Happy New Year from, I thought it said Happy Halloween then, but it doesn't say that at all. It says Happy New Year from Chilly Haleso in West Midlands. Oh, thank you, everybody. It's so nice. I'm feeling the warmth of the astronomy community embracing me like some kind of supernova. There we go. Let's see what's this. Hi, Vicky, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so we're going to be making some astronomical New Year's resolutions. Drop into the chat room if you're aiming to do something this year that you've never done before. I, for one, am going to remember to put on my lens cap because this year, my first telescope session, I didn't actually do that. And I noticed that my lens cap had been off for a couple of days. Naughty, naughty, especially when you keep your telescope on display in the lounge. Did you get to do any observing the other night? We had a really clear night here on Anglesey. I took my Celestron StarSense Explorer, the only telescope in the world to navigate you around the sky with an app, so you don't actually have to learn anything. You just press a button and it guides you to any target within about 10 seconds. We had a phenomenally, breathtakingly clear night here in Anglesey. Now, I've never, ever seen ice on a telescope before, but my telescope iced up. So tell us what your, oh, excuse me, sneezy time. Wow, SPA nearly 6,000 followers on Facebook. Isn't that great? Thank you, Gwyneth. Yes, it is very exciting. And the more you share this video, the more, okay, Chrome is really slow and can't find my mic. Oh dear, Megan. Hopefully, so Megan is having some little wee connection problems, but hopefully she'll pop through any minute now. In the meanwhile, I can fill with a tap dance. So drop us your New Year's resolutions in the chat room. I saw, now this might be quite a basic one to a lot of astronomers, but it's been a while since I looked at the double star in the handle of the plough. These two stars are Mizar and its fainter companion Alcor. They are one of the most famous double stars in the sky. You will spot Mizar first as the middle star of the Big Dipper's handle. Look closely and you'll also see Alcor right next to Mizar. Now, I cheated on my eye test ever so slightly and pretended that, you know, when they do the lens thing, I wanted like 25 vision, like better than 20/20. And so my glasses were like made like an extra little bit powerful for me, and I still can't see that double star. Can't see it, even though you're supposed to be able to see it as a test of eyesight. This pair of stars in the Big Dipper's handle is famously called the Horse and Rider. Now, I didn't know that. Have you ever spotted them yourself? If you can't see the fainter Alcor with the unaided eye, use binoculars to see Mizar's nearby companion. So then, do we have a, oh, thank you. Hi, John Anderson. Happy New Year from highly scrumptious Lee Community Observatory. Some double stars and clusters in Puppis and Canis Major, but I had to use binoculars in the end because the scope iced up. I know, it's quite exciting, really. We're actually getting cold weather back. Yes, Mother Nature's reset button, Control-Alt-Delete. So I'm just going to check my email because Megan is having connection problems. Let's have a look. Okay, Megan, I don't know whether you're watching this, but do keep on trying. Can't find my mic. Okay. Let me just give Megan a quick text. Oh, she's here. Okay, great. Let us chat very briefly about something that is happening tomorrow. And if you are involved in astronomy outreach, this is going to be very valuable to you. Maybe Megan, who's listening, this might be helpful to her as well. So if you scroll back to the top of the comments, you will see a link. In fact, I'll stick it in the comments again. It will take you through to, let's just pop that there. Oh, no. There it is. Okay. That link there quite important if you're involved in astronomy outreach at all. So tomorrow there is a free webinar by the Federation of Astronomical Societies. It's tomorrow, Saturday, the 9th of January, from 1 p.m. until 4:30 UK time. Now, the FAS is hosting a webinar tomorrow giving advice and guidance on topics related to outreach and COVID-19. The event is free and open to anybody who does outreach. It's not just for astronomical societies. Book your place via the link there on Eventbrite. It is free. So during this seminar, it's going to be really useful because they're going to be, it's broken down into several different segments, such as how can we do online outreach despite the coronavirus, online outreach via Zoom, Google Meet or Microsoft Teams, online outreach via YouTube channels uploading and live streaming, what are the background safety and insurance issues, and risk assessment and insurance issues. Also, they're going to be covering in-person outreach, indoors, on own premises such as society, clubhouse, planetarium or observatory, on host premises such as a school, in-person outreach for own members and also for groups such as Scouts, Cubs, Girl Guides, schools, colleges and universities. So once again, that is tomorrow. It is a free webinar by the Federation of Astronomical Societies, 1 p.m. I've dropped the link in the comments. I'm sure Jerry will happily, oh no, he might have internet problems tonight where he is. Hopefully you're watching this, Jerry. And good luck with the event tomorrow. And if I remember, I will mention it again at the end of the show. Right, we are now going to go over to Megan Argo. Hopefully her tech is working. Are you ready, Megan? 3, 2, 1. Megan!
Hello.
Oh, hi, how are you tonight?
Thank you. I'm not sure my internet's terribly good, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh, Megan, it's fine. You look like you're broadcasting on teletext, but... Oh, dear. How are you anyway?
Yeah, pretty good. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Hello from Anglesey. Whereabouts are you tonight?
I am in Cheshire.
Wow. Okay. So it's not a great connection, Megan, but I tell you what, I'll ask you maybe just a couple of questions and you can just start talking. And if it's too pixely, then we'll can the interview and try it another time, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Okay, so tell us, first of all, let's go straight into Aricebo on what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Aricebo was a 305-meter radio telescope in Puerto Rico, and it was an amazing telescope. It's done so much good science over the years. But unfortunately, in the last couple of months, it's kind of disintegrated. And it's been around for a long time anyway, and they knew that there were problems with some of the cables. And in fact, they were actually in the process of going around and checking all of the cables to see exactly how much repairs needed doing when one of them snapped. So they started looking in more detail at the cables and discovered that they were all a little bit further gone than they were expecting. And unfortunately, while they were doing some of those tests, even more of it snapped, and the central bit above the dish itself that was holding all the receivers just crashed into the telescope and basically destroyed what was left of it, which is really, really sad.
Okay. Yeah, we got that then. So have you ever had any involvement with Aricebo yourself then?
Well, I've used plenty of radio telescopes. I've used some of the European BLBI network, and the European network basically we link lots and lots of telescopes together, pretend that we've got a really, really big telescope. The way to improve your resolution are to either change the part of the spectrum you're looking at, or change the size of your telescope, video telescope with better resolution. If you want to look in the radio at particular things like hydrogen has a particular spectral line in the radio that's really, really useful for measuring like velocities and galaxies and so on. If you want to look at that frequency, you can't change where you're looking in order to get more resolution. The only thing you can do is make a bigger telescope. So what we do instead of using individual telescopes is we start to link them up and just simulate having a really, really big telescope. And that's what we do with this European BLBI network. And our definition of Europe is fairly flexible as far as astronomy is concerned. So we use telescopes in mainland Europe, but in the UK, and in India and China and Russia, and in Puerto Rico as well. And in fact, we use telescopes in the US too. So it makes a really, really big radio telescope. I have used Aricebo as part of that network of telescopes. It's one of the biggest radio telescopes in that network. It's one of the most sensitive. So it's a really useful one to have in your array that you can use it.
So you mentioned to me, now I did not know about this. Every day is a school day for a very amateur astronomer like me, but you mentioned that Aricebo actually does radar work or did radar work. Explain that, please, because I Googled it. New world to me.
Yeah, so actually a lot of telescopes that are involved in radio astronomy don't just do radio astronomy, they use for other things as well. And one of the things that Aricebo did quite a bit of is radar of things like asteroids and planets as well. So they're doing planetary radar on Venus, for example, to look at the heights of the surface features on Venus. So in the same way that you would use a sonar from a ship going over the water, you would use sonar to send sound signals down to the bottom of the ocean and listen for the pings coming back. And the time it takes that sound to go from the ship down to the bottom of the ocean floor and back to the ship tells you how far away the bottom of the ocean is. Essentially, the closer the surface is to your ship, the shorter the time it takes for the signal to get from the ship to the ground and back again. So it's the same with planetary radar. We send signals out to Venus and listen for the response coming back. And using that, you can measure the heights of the surface features and you get an accurate map of the three-dimensional surface of the planet Venus. So that's been done with Aricebo to look at Venus and to look at other asteroids as well. So it's done quite a lot of that over the years. It's also been used to study our own atmosphere. So by sending signals out through the atmosphere of the Earth, you can measure what's changing in the atmosphere as you go from the ground out to the, almost into space. So it's done a lot of that work as well. It's been really, really that kind of work.
Oh, Megan, like in films where they're trying to contact aliens and the aliens come through all kind of like broken up with their transmission. It's like it's like something like that at the minute. So I think what we'll do is we'll end the interview there because I actually didn't pick up very much of that. So if it's all right, can we come back to you another time and get the full lowdown on what's happening, please, Megan?
Yeah, we can try another time.
I suffered 4 months of terrible internet like this before I found this little patch of internet here on Anglesey to do this. So my heart goes out to you, and maybe we'll see you soon, Megan. Okay.
Okay, take care.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come on with us, and good luck. Oh, bye. Sorry about that. Internet problems, but we will get Megan back another time because she is an accomplished public speaker. Once we all get back to normal, if you ever get the opportunity to see Megan at any astronomical talks, make a beeline for the lady because she's just fantastic. I think she was on national radio possibly quite recently. Let's have a look what's happening in the chat room. Good night, Megan. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Steve. Plenty of good advice. If any of you are not members of the SPA yet, I highly recommend you joining. That's because you get stuff like the magazine, access to meetings, all sorts of extra freebies and goodies. Plus, you get to keep one of the Britain's oldest and most, I think we might be one of the biggest astronomical societies afloat. Because, as you can imagine, we need all the members that we can get at the moment. So it'd be fantastic if you could join. It's only £23 a year, and it's just very feel-good stuff. You get to contribute to the magazine. The magazine every 2 months is very in-depth. It's sacred reading for me. I absolutely love it. Plus, you get to be part of something very special, the SPA. Thank you, Megan. Look forward to hearing your talk. Yes. Can't wait to see Megan again. Yep. Yes. Okay. So we are now going to go over to my hastily cobbled together Spacex quiz. SpaceX have been in the news quite a lot lately. Elon Musk has just been announced as the world's richest man, and he's been doing more amazing test launches. So this is a chat room game. And the first person to answer wins a trip strapped to the nose cone of the next launch of one of the SpaceX rockets. So let's start playing. Hopefully you've revised. Okay. Answer in the chat room. Of course, this game is just for fun. There is no £1 million prize. Elon Musk was co-founder of which online service? There you go. Now, apparently, there is a 10-second delay on this, so I'll just wait. 10 seconds. And who is going to be the first to answer? Hi, Vicky. Megan was known as the godmother. She was involved at the start of the Jodcast from Jodrell Bank. Yes, very good. Thank you, Jed. Oh, here they come. The answers are coming in. Owen, stalwart of the astronomy quizzes. Owen, PayPal, well done. Nice to see you all. So, yeah, there's about a 15-second delay there because it took that amount of time for all the answers to pop up at once. Very good. Well done. You've all got 1 point. So, in 1998, PayPal was founded, except back then it wasn't called PayPal. It was called Confinity, a company founded on the premise of low-cost, almost effortless. I think I put some extra syllables in there. Effortless digital payments for consumers and businesses. Okay, next SpaceX question. What is the name of the reusable two-stage rocket designed and manufactured by SpaceX for the reliable and safe transport of people and payloads into Earth orbit and beyond? So what is the name of the reusable two-stage rocket designed and manufactured by SpaceX for the reliable and safe transport of people and payloads into Earth orbit and beyond? And while you do that, I am just going to drag my heater over and check it's still on. Yeah, it needs to turn it up because it's gone cold in here. Who's going to be the first to answer? Ooh. Oh, right. Okay. So we've got answers such as Falcon, Dragon. Well done, Steve. Falcon. And the answer is the first one that's popped up on my screen, Catherine Grimes. Well done. Falcon 9. Well done. Okay, now, what was the name of the craft that launched Starman in 2018? Which one was that? Oh, thank you, Jerry. No problem. I didn't expect you to read all the info. Thanks very much. Hey, anytime, Jerry. What was the name of the craft that launched Starman in 2018? It had 27 engines and the thrust equivalent to 18 747 aircraft at full power. Well done, Owen Gwynn. You've got that one right. Falcon Heavy is the answer. Okay. Now then, when I was Googling today, I just glimpsed inside the cockpit of the Tesla Roadster that Starman was launched in. What 2 words were on his dashboard? What 2 words were on Starman's dashboard? Usually completed Mr. Mannering at the end of the phrase. Although I don't think it was from Dad's Army. Oh, I'll see if I get a few more answers in. Colin is looking like he got it right first, though. Being in Cheshire, we're nearer to Anglesey. Yeah, okay. Well done. Colin Carter got it right. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering in a tribute to Dad's Army on the dashboard. I know. Okay, right. Steve, Mr. Tonkin, because we ran short on Megan, do you think you could log on and come and do quite a long stint with me because Megan was cut short? It'd be great if you could just log on right now, Steve, if you're available to come on. Well done. The answer was don't panic. Now then, what is the name of the launch site? Thank you, Steve. I can see you've just logged on. What is the name of the launch site on the remote South Texas shoreline where Starship is launched from? Now, it's multiple choice. The 4 answers are A, B, C, and D. The first is A, Cheeky Chica. B, Bocky Boca. C, Chica Boca. Or D, Boca Chica. So is it A, Chica Chica, B, Bocky Boca, C, Chica Boca, D, Boca Chica? I like that. A, Chica Chica, B, Boca Boca, C, Chica Boca, D, Boca Chica. I know it's, Robin, I know it's from the Hitchhiker's Guide. I was just testing you. Don't panic, Mr. Schedule. Oh, let's have a look. So we've got answers. We've got B. James Little thinks it's Bocky Bocker. What does Owen think it is? The answer is, this is the last question now. It's D. Well done. It's Boca Chica. Quite a remote coastal. Yeah, Kevin Quigg says it's A. Chica Chica. That's me, not you. No, it's Boca Chica, very remote southern Texan stretch of beach where it's renowned for its wildlife, including ocelots. So hopefully the wildlife aren't going to be too distracted by having one of the world's biggest rockets launching regularly on their doorstep. If you thought dogs were scared of fireworks, imagine how scared an ocelot would be of a rocket. Just joined. Well done. Thank you, Ian. I hope you don't mean the chat. I hope you do mean the SPA. We've got a new member. Well done. Okay. We're now going to go over to Steve Tonkin, who is going to be with me any moment now. When you're ready, Steve? 3, 2, 1. Hey, Steve. Oh, can't hear you. Hey, mute. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. You are only coming through in waves. Oh. Hi, Steve. Can't hear you now. I'm not tap dancing for 40 minutes now. It says... No, my laptop is turned up. Okay. Oh.
Right. Is that any
yes.
better?
Yay! Happy New Year, Steve.
Right, we'll get this sorted one way or another.
Do you know what? I swear this show gives me grey hair. I swear to God, it gives me grey hair.
Yeah, it's also going to do the same to me because to look at my camera is there, but to see what's going on the screen, I have to look over there, which looks like I'm not paying attention, which is...
Pay attention, Tonkin.
Yay. I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can swap screens over. Hang on. Bing, bing, bing. Right. Well, that's marginally better, isn't it?
So Jerry says, I did a live radio interview after the Falcon Heavy launch. I pointed out that the Tesla Roadster had a dummy in the driving seat. It's gone where no mannequin has gone before. Very good, Jerry. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Do you know Jerry? Have you met Jerry?
I'm getting old and I don't remember. I might have done, but if I do, I don't remember. But that could just be very gradually, or maybe not so gradually, going senile.
That sounds serious. How was your Christmas and New Year, Steve?
Just like any other day, except I probably drunk a bit too much for a week, and had a slightly more complicated meal than usual on Christmas Day, but it was just a bit of attention to it. No, it's this interesting being in lockdown. What you do, what you make different, and we thought, well, we ought to do something, but yeah. How was yours?
We had corn.
Oh, bad luck! Yes, I had game. I made a game casserole, but hey, that's not your scene.
No, I would happily eat that. Do you know what? Well, I didn't do the Christmas cooking, so it wasn't up to me to ruin any meal. And we had a corn roast, which actually doesn't look dissimilar to this microphone in proportions. And do you know what? I swear it was delicious. I was dreading it for weeks, and it was delicious. So well done. Kudos to corn. Kudos to corn.
Well done, corn. No, it says we have in the village. We have a very good butcher who is licensed to do games. So. Yeah, I had a...
Ooh. What goes in a game casserole, Steve?
Well, this was venison, hare, rabbit, pheasant, partridge, and duck, if I remember correctly.
Oh, gosh. I can deal with all that except for maybe hare, which is my favourite creature.
And then chestnuts and mushrooms and bay and nice rich sauce, and it was fantastic.
That sounds good.
There's still a load left in the freezer as well because there's only 2 of us, and I made enough for about 20. So hey, but
I'll be round. I'll be round. Just give me your 3 words, Steve, and I'll be round.
Okie doke, we'll do that.
So, have you managed to do any astronomy over Christmas and New Year then?
Not a heck of a lot because the weather has been unremittingly vile. I mean, I did manage to catch the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. Hi, Mary. Saturn-Jupiter conjunction just the day before, but
Yeah,
I actually had to set up on my kitchen roof to do that, which was
it was
otherwise I
beautiful.
wouldn't have seen it. Yeah,
It was extra beautiful.
Well, I was catching it through clouds, but this is astronomy in the UK. You take what you've got, basically.
Yeah, I had a really good look at the conjunction the day before the main event, and to see such a jumble of well-known objects in the eyepiece was really quite a feast for the senses.
Yeah, I managed to get a few images of it, but I tried to get a decent one through the telescope of the two planets, but yeah, it was the conditions were just so unremittingly vile that it was like the first planetary image I ever took. I think it was pretty horrible. But hey, it's the thing is not about the achievement. The thing is about trying to do it, getting out there, having a go, and just enjoying it. And there's not a heck of a lot more you can do, really, is there?
No, that's very true. Well, you can use a broom handle to stabilize your binoculars. Now, I tried it the other day and it kind of worked. And then I looked at your website and I realized I had the broom upside down.
Hang on.
I was just on the handle.
Yeah, let me just see. Right. Let me do a screen share.
Okay.
Yes, I know screen share is easiest with two monitors.
Oh, ignore that. It's vile. This is another way to get grey hair, trying to do screen share on this software. It's working. Let's have a look. Right, are we ready to go yet?
We're ready to go.
Okay, yeah.
Right, that's well, it's not a broom. It's this is the deluxe version, Vicky. This is a window cleaning squeegee. So that's the squeegee end there. It's got a cranked handle, which is great. You can adjust the height there. The cranked handle is brilliant because then you've got a little bit of offset. So you see here, it completely misses astronomer's belly. It's just a generally good bit of kit. And you just bungee you keep that end clean, bungee it onto it. This was £4 on everybody's least favorite internet sales site. And it was just, it's just an easy way to do binoculars. What you want to do is make sure, whatever you're doing, that's actually using a rake. But, clean towel over the end, bungee your binocs on, and you can do it. You're not limited to stuff like that. So there we are with the rake. I've used things like, I'm sure we can make that a little bit bigger. Or does anyone really want it that much bigger? You can use things like this. This is a cheap little beach chair. So you can just rest the arms, that thing across the armrest of a recliner, then rest your elbows on it, and it makes an enormous difference. Or you can go absolutely deluxe on this one, which is what I've done here. Let me see if we can push that one up a bit. So it's all a bit hasty because so here, it's swivel. Sorry, not swivel. We have got motion in azimuth, and then that they're holding the binocs on like that. And it's okay. These are sort of fairly contrived things. I'll stop sharing that now, but it's there we go. But it's really just using anything you've got around. If you haven't got, we can't all afford great things like the Star Chair, that $3.5 grand Australian kit. Yeah, but it's fantastic. It was. Yeah, unfortunately they're not made anymore. But they were these things, and they would hold. It was basically like you sat in a computerized altazimuth mount. You just dialed in where you wanted to go, and your entire chair, and the advertising image they used had these socking great 150mm Fujinon binoculars, the things I lust after, and they're really, really great. This is really what it's all about, isn't it? It's the real extremes we can go to with our kit. So you can go out with just your naked eye, or you can go out with the most amazingly complex kit. And nothing with binoculars is actually that complex. But what some of these guys do with their scopes now, it really is. I see Simon Bakewell's got their just your sitting position height when looking at us through a scope. Yeah, you can get observing stools that do that. I mean, there are some good designs if you want to DIY. There's some, or you can get bespoke ones. The Skywatcher do one. It's a tubular metal thing. It's infinitely adjustable, and you just sort of go up and down on the thing. So what some people use is an ironing chair, but they're a little bit more difficult to adjust. If you look on any of the internet websites, I mean, First Light Optics have a few that they do there. So, yeah. Robin, absolutely correct. Yes, monopod and trigger grip head is my absolute favorite mounting system for any binoculars up to about 70 mil. And lying on a beach chair, yes. And the thing about monopod, you don't have to have the thing vertical. It can be at any angle. I discovered this after I'd actually ruined a recliner by welding a hole through the seat so I could get the the monopod approximately vertical. It was no more stable than having the thing going down the side. So hey, it's just the monopods are brilliant. And the thing about monopods is, however you're doing them, you don't get this thing you get with tripods. If you're trying to use something like particularly straight through binoculars on a tripod, we're meant to live in this infinite universe of space-time. But what you eventually end up with is this horrendous territorial dispute between the tripod's 3 feet and your 2 feet. And you're all trying to occupy the same bit of space time at the same time. Introduce a chair into it, and that's another 4 legs competing for it. And anyway, if it's straight through, then your neck's going up too high, and it's just abysmally painful and awkward. Monopods, great, and as Robin says, beach chair, lie down, you recline, rest your head, you're automatically looking up. Anything bigger than about 70, I think you need other options. What I tend to use is a thing called a parallelogram mount, which I can either stand with it, recline with it, and what you're doing is this thing. I'll see if I can pull up a an image of this. Hang on, I can't remember where the heck I put it. I've a computer that I probably need to. Where is it gone? Ah, there we are. Right, just hang on a mo, folks. Sorry about this. I am a little bit sort of not quite ready because I wasn't aware we're going to be on this. I should stop making excuses. Where are we? Astro devices parallelogram. There we go.
Don't worry, Cosmo is filling for you, Steve.
Jolly good. Well done, Cosmo. Right, let's just tweak through that. Bing, bing. That'll do.
Are you ready?
So, I've lost the main screen. So I've got too many things going on here. Right, let's do a share again.
Excellent.
Let's try just the image.
Have you tried using image stabilized binoculars? I was able to see. Oh my gosh. Now I remember Liz and Owen, I think from Mid Cheshire Astro, kindly let me use their image stabilizing binoculars. They are like a miracle.
Yeah, there's loads more on the market now. Anyway, the screen shows up when you need it. There's a number of different systems with the image stabilized. There's the most common one is one of the Canon ones, and the Canon 10x30s. They're actually, with the image stabilization on, they give you approximately what you'd get with normal size 10x50s. I mean, they unstabilized. So that's great. I'm actually testing a new one at the moment, but I can't say too much about that because it's for a review that's yet to come out. but it's interesting. They are pretty good. They used a prism which actually changed the angle of the prism changed, and what that does, just divert the light. So it's fast electronics does that. So that was the first stage Canon stuff. The new stuff uses actually lens shifting, which is the same as they use in their high-end cameras, and it's phenomenal. I've tested a few of those. And you hold the binoculars up here, and then I tense my arms to make my hands shake. And what you're looking at is a perfectly steady sky with the binoculars shaking around it. It's
wow.
It's incredible technology. The thing, if you want something, it's very small, portable, and that's your aim, that's great. But what I find actually is that for less money, I can put something like a pretty decent, say 16 by 70 mil binocular with a monopod and trigger grip head, which costs about half. The whole lot costs about half as much as one of the top-end image stabilized binoculars, and I can see a heck of a lot more with it. So while I'm still sort of compos mentis and I can do all this sort of thing without sort of falling over and all the rest of it, I'm going to be sticking with stuff like that. It's up on the screen now. Thanks, Vicky. This is the parallelogram system. So this here is just an ordinary old Manfrotto 075 tripod. Why? Because they're really cheap secondhand on our favorite auction site, and you can just make out the parallelogram here. And what happens, this will just go up and down, and you can move it up and down, and it will still be pointing at the same thing, which is great for outreach, because I can find something like I am here, standing and looking up at something, and then somebody whose head comes to the height of my belly, like a child, I can just drop the binocular to that height, and they can see exactly the same thing.
Oh.
And this is just, this is bliss. This is a fairly cheap Astro Devices parallelogram. There are loads. I mean, they're the nicest one is one made by 10 micron. Anyone who knows their top-end mounts will know about 10 micron. They're Leonardo, but it's pretty blooming expensive, but it is an astonishing bit of kit. Or you can make your own. There's plans on the internet, and internet, there's so much now we can do on the internet. So if you can hold a drill and a saw, essentially you can make your own parallelogram. And if you've got heavy binoculars, it's worth it. Or if you just don't like having to hold binoculars, or and that, because they feel like they're floating. You get it right, which is the counterbalance weight, which you just see it in that thing. It's like the binoculars are floating in air. It really is. They're just weightless. It's such a remarkable experience. If it gets a bit breezy or something like that, you have to start tightening things up, and it's not so good. Otherwise, your binocular system acts like a windsock. But it's a lovely way to view. I've got some big 100mm binoculars which I use on a different one, old UA thing called a T-mount, which is a short parallelogram, really sturdy. You'll say, why do you spend that much on a binocular mount? Well, hang on. Why wouldn't I? It's the same with telescopes. About why buy decent optical kit and then hobble it by putting on a mount that's inadequate for it? What you want to do is your kit's only as good as the weakest part of it. So don't skimp on mounts for anything, and that includes binoculars if they need to be mounted. I mean, anything up to certainly 10 by 50 don't need to be mounted. But my big Miyuchi 100mm, I put them on this thing. Okay, yes, it was expensive, but the amount of use I've got out of this thing. About 8 years ago, I worked out that I was down to single figures pence per hour enjoyment, for using these things, and that is just stupidly cheap for enjoyment of our night sky. So yeah, if it's good kit, you'll use it a lot, and basically cost per hour enjoyment becomes minimal. So
what a great way of putting it. What a great way of putting it. Okay, Steve, let's change the gear change slightly now. Let's talk about the dreaded light pollution. How's your job going?
The job's going interestingly because of this COVID thing. So we really need to be getting out to speak to people and getting them to consider changing their lighting, maybe giving them grants to change their lighting. I just respond to what Robin's put up on the quiz there, just going back there. What size bins would you recommend someone to get for their first purchase? 10 by 50, unless you're very, very small, in which case something like an 8 by 42. But my son, we're going back to Binocs, when he was 8, I taught him how to hold 10 by 50 properly. And he made an independent discovery of M34, that open cluster in Perseus, and devised a star hop to show me what he'd actually found.
Oh, wow.
Now, if an 8-year-old can do that, that suggests they're actually able to use a 10 by 50 effectively. So, obviously I can't see what he was seeing. I don't know how steady it was from anything like that. But for me, that's good enough. I mean, they were lightweight, some lightweight green cats I found for him. But yeah, they were, 10 by 50 is great. I think it's the sweet spot for handheld binoculars. It's about as much as you can take without it getting too shaky. And yet it's big enough to show you a heck of a lot. In my book, Binocular Astronomy, I've got over 100 objects that you can see with 10 by 50 binocs, and that is, that's actually quite a lot. And there's actually more, but it's on the website I'm trying to get 600 before I'm still on the green side of the turf. It's although. I did this as a thing. I thought, I need to learn how to do some of this fancy web programming stuff. So databases and PHP to access it and that. So I just, so I enjoy learning things. And so I've got just over 300 objects in there at the moment, but this will increase, I hope, when I get round to it. But the job's getting in the way. This is the thing, sort of 8th decade, and then all of a sudden you become employed again. Excuse me. And so, working as a Dark Skies advisor for Cranbourne Chase AONB International Dark Sky Reserve, we got the reserve status October 2019. And we have got a few years. We've got to try and get more people's lighting compliant. But of course, we haven't been able to get out there. My predecessor left last January, and I wasn't appointed till October, although, the process started in February because of the COVID thing. And now we're in lockdown again. So the whole thing is being put on hold. But the idea is we just get out and speak to people and try to get them to see, sort of just the right amount of light in the right place at the right time is all you need for security, for safety with a task or anything like that. You don't need to blast everything with incredibly high wattage stuff or anything like that. And a lot of the problems we've got at the moment is planning. The whole thing around, we have it especially difficult because we're actually dealing with 7 different councils because the AONB covers different council areas. But what we really need to get is a common planning thing where the lighting is properly taken into consideration. We don't need, the Institute of Lighting Professionals are now looking at this. I was at a conference of theirs just before Christmas, and really need to get away from this thing of looking at the brightness of the bulb to looking at the illumination that it's having. Because if we think in old money terms, a 100-watt bulb, which is 2 inches from the surface is meant to be lighted, it'd be far too bright. But if it's well directed and is, you know, sort of 3 meters away, it might be perfectly acceptable. So we've got to try and get that into it. You know, that actually it's the illuminance of the surface, not the output of the bulb, that's really important. And then that's going to differ for various different surfaces as well, because different things scatter different amounts of light. And the interesting thing is there is almost no data on basically on how things like grass scatters and various hard standing surfaces scatter light either. So you've got this thing where there's the regulation that is there is minimal. There is the possibility of someone said about lumens per watt. Lumens per watt only tells you what the bulb's putting out. It doesn't tell you what's actually being lit, which is the problem. The only legislation on lighting is basically if you can prove, and you have to prove that somebody else's light is causing a legal nuisance to you, and that has to be something that is certified by a qualified lighting engineer or whatever appointed by the council. And it's an incredibly complicated process to go through. So just before Christmas, the all-party parliamentary group on lighting convened, and they report in the House of Commons, and they are proposing a number of different measures to try to get rid of this ridiculously excess lighting. Because ever since LEDs came in, you think, great blessing, you know, far, far, far less energy being spent on lighting. Yeah, but most of them now are far too bright. So what they've actually done is they've caused an increase in light pollution. One is there's just too much light. And they cause glare and everything else. But the other thing is a lot of them are blue rich. This is the blue rich lighting that is really bad for everybody. It's bad for animals animals that should be asleep at night. If they see blue light, they think, hey, it's daytime. So, you know, you get things like songbirds singing in the middle of the night, which they're meant to actually be sleeping then. So instead of having day and night, they have day and day. I mean, it's well documented. Things like sea turtles and that, which when they hatch, they go towards the brightest light, which used to be the moon. They now go inland to the hotel lights or something like that. So, you know, this is harming that. If you drive, you will have noticed, I'm sure, that over the last 20 years, the number of insects that you have to clean off your windscreen has diminished to almost nothing, even in a really hot summer. And it's now known that most of this sort of insect Armageddon thing is actually, you know, the insects are dying off. Yeah, but it's not just pesticide use or anything like that. Most of it is actually this blooming blue rich lighting that's doing it. We are doing unfathomable damage to our environment with that. And birds, similarly, human health is suffering as well. If we get blue light at night, wakes us up, melatonin levels drop, and it's melatonin that protects us. This is well documented against things like breast cancer and prostate cancer. And there are currently, they're not published yet, but there are currently at least 8 studies going on with the relationship between COVID and melatonin. The suggestion is that COVID suppresses melatonin, which is one of the ways it has such the devastating effect it has, but that also suppressed melatonin allows COVID to become more active in your body. So this is really, this is. I say they're not publishing. This isn't proof and stuff. So don't take anything I'm saying as, hey, Steve said, you know, that there's this relationship. But there are certainly things going on. Bat populations getting hammered. There are bats that will starve to death if the entrance to their roost is lit at night, because they won't come out because they think it's day. You know, and there's a whole litany of stuff. It's very depressing to go through the whole lot. But the upshot is we really, really need to do something about lighting, because this is, I think, the new sort of global warming thing. It really is becoming a problem. So what do we do about it? Well, legislation, obviously, we need, but you're not going to get that unless we all talk to people. And so what can individuals do? Well, when your local community, be it a parish or county or whatever, renews their local plan, lobby them to get decent stuff about lighting intensity, lighting direction, and particularly get rid of this blooming blue rich stuff anywhere where you don't need high temperature lighting. What we should be aiming for ultimately is what's called the color temperature of somewhere between 2200, 2200, 2700 Kelvin, which is it's the sort of warm white light. We don't need the really bright stuff for most tasks. We only need those where it's really safety critical. So where you need to be able to good color rendition for signage. So things like railway platforms or something like that. Obviously, they've got to be lit properly, otherwise people end up under trains. But there's, no one's trying to turn off all the lights. This is the myth. What we're trying to do is just get, say it again, the right amount of light for the task in the right place at the right time. And that, what's wrong with that? And we all win. There are millions of tons of CO2 being pushed up by, we send into the atmosphere by producing light that does no good at all. It ultimately ends up out there. And so, yeah, it's crazy because there are no losers on this except maybe the energy companies. But everybody wins if we have decent lighting. There's no that I can see sensible reason not to do it. But then I've been saying this for 30 years, and maybe I just bore people to death with it, which is why they won't do it. But hey.
Wow, Steve, gosh, I actually didn't realize it was quite so grave, the light pollution situation. So thank you for educating us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, Steve.
Oh, thank you, Vicky. Yeah. Oh, I've just realized what the time is. I must have been waxing lyrical.
I know. Yeah, you can hold court very well, Steve. It's a good skill to have, isn't it?
Well, I used to be a teacher. I wanted to say that what a teacher training really gives you the skill to do is speak with enormous authority for at least 40 minutes on a subject about which you know absolutely nothing.
Oh, can you give me some tips, please? Give me some tips, Steve. Right, okay. Well, I'm sure I'll call on you again to star on Pop Astro Live, Steve. As you know, it's always a pleasure. I can't believe we've only ever met once. It seems like many more times.
Yeah, I know. It was that wonderful solar sphere, wasn't it?
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah, when you have Megan on earlier, so yeah, there's this group of incredibly competent women that come together to do stuff at Solar Sphere, and Megan's one of them. And it's really great. It's really great to see. So yeah.
So Steve, just give yourself a plug, how people can find you and what you do with your book and what have you.
God. Okay, I have a website called binocular-sky.com. That's my sort of binocular astronomy one. Just everything else goes from that.
It's an excellent book.
Yeah. Vicky's got one. You can get this Discover the Night Sky Through Binoculars from that. You can get it from the website. If you want a signed copy, it doesn't cost you any more or anything like that. And I'm happy to give you that. Or you can get it. You can get it at Amazon or First Light Optics or place like that. Just wherever you want to, if you want it. Except looking at the sky through binoculars, not everybody. The motivation behind that book was people tell you, hey, start with binoculars, and nobody tells you how. What the aim of this book is to take you through the sky and month by month section of things, so that if you follow the program for a year, starting wherever you want, by the end of that year, you'll have a fairly good working knowledge of the night sky, plus a load of stuff that I find interesting.
Do you know,
and
Steve? I think binoculars are underrated, especially if you're like me, and I struggle to wink one eye. So for me, like binoculars are a revelation. I'll just cast our minds back to the first time we met at Solar Sphere, and we met Louise, your wife. We met.
that's right. Yeah.
I was chatting with just this random lady by the bins. No pun intended. And she said, "Oh, come back." And she said, "Oh, my husband is Steve." I was like, "Steve who? Never heard of you. Didn't know that you were like the rock god of astronomy."
I'm not.
And you
I'm
took
just
us
this
back.
guy, you know.
You
Sorry.
took us back. We went back to your little camping area, and the sky cleared above us, and you gave us a star hop around Cassiopeia. And that was one of the most magic moments because it was cloudy all weekend other than that moment.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that's right. Because I was hoping to be doing some outreach, so I had a load of, I had a whole crate load of binoculars with me. We could just sort of share and have a look. That's right. Sat outside the tent. If I remember, we would. Although I can't remember if you were or not. I think you might have been not partaking at the time, drinking Tanqueray gin, the orange Tanqueray orange gin, and.
I probably was drinking back then. Thank you, Steve Gwyneth. You gave us a great talk in Abingdon some years ago. I must have another look at your website. Binocular quality is very variable, and you gave us lots of useful tips.
Yeah. Binocular quality is enormously variable. You can get some absolute rubbish and pay a lot for it, and you can get some really good stuff and not pay too much for it. I'll just say to anybody, you know, if you're thinking of getting into binoculars, you're not sure, have a look at some of the stuff on the website, because I've got some ideas what to look for there. But you can contact me through the website as well. My aim is just to get people looking up and out. So do that, contact me, you know, and I will give you my best advice within your price range and all the rest of it. At the moment, things are well, thanks, Dave. Things are quite difficult to get hold of because of COVID situation, and loads of people have got into astronomy. So you've got this perfect storm of loads of demand and not such good supply. So a lot of things are short. But hey, yeah.
Steve, you're resurrecting people's love affair with binoculars. Dig your bins out; they're fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Mel, and thank you for all those occultation predictions you did for me some years ago.
Oh yeah, Mel is our occultations director at the SPA, and bring the night sky to life in 3D with Mel's incredibly meticulous occultation tables.
Yeah. Well, they're wonderful to watch. I mean, I put a few in every month, and that's the other thing. If you're into binoculars, I do a free newsletter every month with what to look for in the sky, and I always include some occultations, especially grazers if they're decent ones on, but only in quite bright stars, which are fairly easy to see. So yeah, they're it's because it's fun when a star just suddenly disappears, or it's not there and it suddenly appears. So yeah. And as someone said, they always have binoculars even when using a large telescope. Yeah, so do I, especially if I'm imaging, because imaging takes a long time and you can get really bored. So until I've got my new remote observatory built, yeah, I'm out there with it, and I've always got 1 or 2 binoculars with me because it's great. You know, it's just so easy. And they'll say, why not? Why binocular? Why don't? Well, a binocular is just 2 telescopes stuck together, for heaven's sake. You know, that's all it is. So
I think that
why people think there shouldn't be any good for astronomy, I've never understood.
Yeah. Okay. Well done, Steve. Smashing down those boundaries. Right. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on, Vicky.
Pleasure. Okay, bye.
Night. Thank you.
Bye. Good night, Steve. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Right. That was a wonderful evening. We will try to get Megan back when we have better internet. She is a wonderful speaker, and anything to do with astronomy, radio astronomy in particular, has my attention. So one final shout out. If you are involved in any form of outreach, especially astronomy outreach at all, you could do very well to attend this webinar tomorrow from 1 o'clock. It's a free webinar by the Federation of Astronomical Societies. Saturday, 9th of January. It's giving advice and guidance on topics related to outreach and COVID-19. The event is free to anybody who does outreach. I know that they've got a couple of hundred people already signed up. They're going to be covering topics such as how can we do online outreach via Zoom and Microsoft Teams and what have you, background and safety and insurance issues, covering outreach on your own premises, on host premises, and in person. So lots of stuff there. If you like your astronomy communication, this is a seminar to attend, and it's tomorrow. And the link is right up at the top of the comments. I'm going to go now. I've got to pack up a mountain of gear, get out in the sleet, 3 carloads, back up to the top of the hill. The minute I switch this off, I'm all on my own in the spooky stables. Oh, look. Oh, there is nobody here on the holiday park at all. It's just me. I'm probably the only person for about a quarter of a mile. So when I press this off button, I'm on my own. If people can't make tomorrow's event, it will be recorded. Thank you very much for that, Owen. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Back to being all on my own. Great show and fantastic guests. Thank you. Thanks for the live. Really missed it over Christmas. Thank you very much. Great fun chat with Steve. Thanks again, Vicky. And good night from Vicky and Cosmo. We're off. Bye. Oh, points the wrong way in this blimmin' camera. There you go. Cosmo, say good night.